Hello, I'm here to teach you about individual rights and collective rights. Canada's Constitution was established in 1867. All rights and freedoms are written under the Canadian Charter. Individual rights relate to the rights and freedoms Canadians have as independent citizens. Different individual rights are under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, such as legal rights, mobility rights, democratic rights, equality rights, and lastly, fundamental freedoms.
Collective rights refer to groups regarding a group of people that share a specific similarity. Canadian collective rights circle around FNMI, First Nations, Métis, Inuit. Other groups include the Anglophone and Francophone rights.
Legal rights refer to being free of unreasonable search and seizure without evidence backed up. Also, the right to a fair and quick trial done by a court that assumes you're innocent until proven guilty. Mobility rights. An example of that is the right to move, travel, enter or stay Canada, to remain in any province within Canada, and earn a living there. Democratic rights. The right to vote for any prime minister, mayor, or new government within Canada. You must be a Canadian citizen and over 18. Equality rights. The right to be free of any daily life discrimination revolving mental or physical disabilities, age, gender, race, or religion. And lastly, fundamental freedoms. The right to express your thoughts, opinions, and expressions, the freedom to practice your own religion, the freedom to associate with any group or person, and the freedom to organize or join a peaceful protest.
The first demonstration for collective rights is the FNMI, First Nation, Métis, and Inuit. They share a specific similarity under the Aboriginal umbrella, because through history of Canadian land, they were original descendants of Canada. That's why there are positive opportunities and applications Aboriginals have a higher chance of achieving. According to the Nelson Grade 9 Canadian textbook, collective identity is a shared identity group that has common similarities revolving language and culture. During Canadian history, First Nations were tied to many historic treaties, such as the 11 numbered treaties. Many First Nation groups were also tied with the Indian Act that occurred during 1876. The Métis were part of Canada's Manitoba Act and were also part of the modern treaties. Lastly, the Inuit were involved with treaties. The FNMI groups are all related to Canada's Constitution. First Nations is an umbrella name that describes all the diverse collected Aboriginal groups. First Nations rights are being affirmed. Treaty Number 6 states that FN are given health care, education, farming assistance, fishing and hunting rights, and lastly, special benefits. Métis rights are being affirmed because previous treaties stripped them from their land. Depending on the location in Canada they lived in, they would be under a specific treaty. Métis also have inherited rights to use land in traditional ways. In 1982, there were official rights for Métis, Inuit, and Aboriginal people, part of the Constitution Act.
Canada has collective rights because it is a bilingual country. The official languages of Canada include French and English. An interesting fact: did you know that the Canadian government may add Punjabi to the official languages since there is a growing and majority Indian population? Anglophone rights are related to English-speaking students. For example, if you are an Anglophone-speaking student, you have the right to attend an English school. The specific definition of an Anglophone is a person whose first language is English. A Francophone is a person whose first language is French. A majority of Francophones live in Quebec. But a right includes that you can attend French immersion classes in an English school. But that is usually a minority.